Starting in 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Doc Genzo here, personally with another deck profile. Today we're going to be doing my SHADDOLL DESPIA. Sorry about the mess over there. I've been working on some other stuff. But yeah, my SHADDOLL DESPIA deck. Recently went undefeated at a locals. I say undefeated, but I drew against one deck, but it's not defeated, so we don't count that. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright folks, let's get into the profile. First, we got our little DESPIA engine here. We got 3 Alubert, Jester of DESPIA, or Luber if you want to pronounce him that way. He's just overall a really good card. Brings himself back from the grave to negate something whenever a fusion leaves the field. Plus searches your branded spell or traps, which is great. You get your theater off him. And he doesn't banish himself when he comes back from the grave, which is also awesome. And also, if he brings himself back from the grave, that gives your opponent a chance to get rid of him, and that will proc Theater's effect. So you're basically just switching everything out. Next up, we got 2 Despian Tragedies. Not running 3 because it's a little too clunky. He's pretty good. Whenever he's sent to the graveyard by a card effect or banished by a card effect, you get to search, I believe it's banished, yeah, by a card effect. You get to search for any Despia monsters, so you can search your Alubert or your Dramaturge. And also, you can banish him from the grave and reset. You can banish him from the grave and reset a branded spell or trap in your grave, so that they somehow get rid of your theater, you can just put it right back on the field. Next, we're running 1 Dramaturge. I'm not running 2 or 3 because it's a little too clunky for me, but I do enjoy it. My only issue with him is that he's dark instead of light, so you're going to go into window with him, and when you do, that gets rid of your 1 special summon, because when he's used as fusion material, he brings himself right back. And whenever something is special summoned from the extra deck, you can target a monster on the field and negate its effects. Not just that monster that was summoned, but anything, which is awesome. And also he's level 8, 3k beat stick. It's nice as well. Next up, our little SHADDOLL package. We got 2 Windies. Not running 3 at the moment because I'm dumb, but also because not enough room in the deck for really. This is 43 cards, and you'll see why in a second. But she's the best SHADDOLL they've ever printed, and it's just a fact. It's one of the best SHADDOLLs ever printed. Next up, we're running 2 Squamata because flip, pop, send by card effect dump. Typical SHADDOLL stuff. 1 Dragon, back row hate, just nice to have. Not a lot of people run Dragon, I do because it gets around Imperial Order. Assuming that it's sent off, you know, a fusion. You can chain a fusion to, if you don't have the Twin Twisters, you can chain a fusion to it and use Dragon, and Dragon will pop that order so you can keep going off. 1 Hedgehog, searches a spell or trap on flip, summons a monster on send, which is nice. Beast, Windy target, also gets you a draw. Sometimes you run into extra restriction with this, but other than that, it's pretty good. And then SHADDOLL Ariel. This one's really nice because I've been using her banish effect a lot more than the typical cross-sheet construct combo where you flip her and get it right back with SHADDOLL Incarnation. The banish effect is super good, especially against stuff like Tri-Brigade, because then they lose their resources. The mirror match as well, of course. Drytron as well, of course. And just, yeah, it's just nice. Next up, we have some little interesting side monsters here. We got 2 Iris Sword Soul. Now, people are going to think I'm kind of weird for playing this, and I am. And if I had to cut anything from the deck, it'd probably be her. But the fact that she can summon herself whenever anything on the field is negated, not just your monsters, is pretty nice. Works wonders with Dark Ruler No More. The draw 2's awesome because they're going to summon from deck. That's the whole format right now. And it's also a light target for Construct, which is nice. So if she's dead in your hand, just use her for a light target. Speaking of light targets, we got 1 Lich. Again, more back row hate. Again, push for game. Just nobody really sees it coming in a deck like this. And I know it's a golder, meh. But he's just overall a good card. Very good card. Next up, we have a small Invoked package with 3 Alistair, and of course, our Invocations, and of course, 2 Magical Meltdowns and not 3, because we're running a 3rd field spell, Despia, the Theater, which is nice and all. So, Alistair is very good for the deck. Invocation is very good for the deck, because 1, we're basic casuals, and we run the easiest engine that we can think of, which is Invoked. And then second of all, It's just good for fusion. This helps you get not only into the INVOKED stuff, but also DESPIAs as well from your hand. Same with dolls. They have to answer the Makeuba, or they have to answer something else. He's just a good target for their hand traps, so you can go off with other stuff as well, like when you branded opening and stuff like that, so it's nice. And yeah, just overall good engine. Next up, more SHADDOLL package stuff. We got our 3 SHADDOLL fusions and 1 L SHADDOLL fusion. Now, not a lot of people run L SHADDOLL fusion, I've been told, but I just think it's a good card. They put it at 1 for a reason a long time ago, and it's a quick play poly. Like, that's not super poly, so why would you not run it? It's just great. Especially in battle phase, you can do your stuff. You can bring your Dramaturge back if you have it in your hand. SHADDOLL fusion is just good because fuse from the deck, just free. This is mainly going second build. FYI, except if you're playing against Tri-Brigade. If that's the case, you want to go into window as soon as you can. But yes, it's just free. SHADDOLL fusion is just free. Fuse from deck, get your Dramaturge, and then the window summon, and then pass whenever you go first against Tri-Brigade, stuff like that. Speaking of DESPIA stuff, we got 3 branded openings and 1 DESPIA Theater the Branded. Now, let me explain these cards. They're a little bit new. DESPIA Theater the Branded is basically a polymerization once per turn for level 8 fusion from your hand or field for a material. So that's just pretty good generically. But also, if a non-fusion fairy leaves the field by battle or card effect, or an opponent's card effect, my apologies, then you can bring back a level 8 fusion from your graveyard, which is great and insane, and I love it. Now, branded opening is also great, because if you notice right here, it says discard 1 card, then no semicolon. That discard is not cost. So, whenever you activate this, they have to respond with Ash. If they don't, you get your discard, preferably a SHADDOLL, special summon or add a DESPIA monster from your deck, including Dramaturgs. There's no level restriction. The only thing that this restricts you into is into fusions for the rest of the turn. So if you want to go into your Alistair Artemis play, you're going to want to do it before you activate this. But that discard, you discard a doll, you get that effect because it's not cost. Dolls don't get their effects off cost, but they get their effects off being sent by effects, and this is technically by an effect. So this is just a really good card, definitely a 3 of. Special summon for the deck for free. It's basically a quick launch for Despias, why not? This is great. Now, onto our generic staple spells. In any fusion deck, you're going to run Super Poly. Super Poly is great. I used it for 2 of my monsters, actually, against a Tri-Brigade player instead of 2 of theirs because I didn't have the attributes, and also went into a window when they activated Revolt, and it makes it fizzle. It's just a great card. They can't chain to it. They can't respond to it. Gets rid of their Dragoon. Gets rid of their power boards, basically. Fantastic. Then we got 3 Pot of Prosperities. This is why we're running at 43 instead of 40, because these are your extra 3. They're just going to dig through the deck and get you stuff. So, it's just there. It's a nice card. Sometimes I wish I don't banish stuff off of it, but, you know, at the end of the day, if you're looking for something, that's going to get you what you need. Next up, 2 Dark Ruler No Mores. This is a going second build, like I said, and also this works well with the Irish Sword Soul, which is fantastic. And also, again, it's a board breaker. We like breaking boards, so that's what we like to do. And then back row hate, because this deck hates back row. Should also just hate back row in general, especially because everybody's running order nowadays, so we're going to run 1 Cyclone. Oh, and missing mine as well. 1 Cyclone, 1 Twisters, and 1 Call By. Call By for the hand traps and also other stuff. Twisters and Cyclone for back row hate when you don't have your dragon or your Lich in the hand. And yeah. And we are siding. I don't usually do side decks for deck profiles, but in this case I'm making an exception for 1 card. We are running a Harpies, but that's in side deck because some decks don't run as much back row as others. So we're just going to run those cards and hope for the best. And then finally, you're going to be on 1 trap. We're not running SHADDOLL Incarnation here. We're just going to run a Schism, because Schism is a busted card. It is great. It sends stuff. It sends a Starving Venom if for the mirror match. It gets you a window on their turn. So bye Tri-Brigade, and it's a fantastic card, and it's up in price right now for a reason. Get yourself one. It's fantastic. Now onto the extra deck. We have a nice extra deck here. Construct. No ulti though, sadly. Speaking of which, we're going to be running 2 SHADDOLL Constructs because This card used to be at 1 for a reason. Used to be banned for a reason, I believe. I'm not quite sure. It's been a long time. But dumps on summon, destroys any special monster it battles. It's just fantastic. Even if in the mirror match, if they Coritis or make her 0, be like, okay, still kill it. I mean, to get its effect off, so you have to find a way around that, but, you know, just for example. Next up, we're going to be running 2 Winda. Winda is just free. She's generic. She's a Shaddoll and a Dark Monster, which is more than half your deck, which is fantastic. And she stops them from special summoning and can't be killed by card effects, so, again, just free. We're going to be running 1 El Shaddoll Shekinaga, and people are going to be like, what the heck are you doing, man? And let me explain. This is for the Tri-Brigade matchup, and that's all there is to it. This could be a Grista. It could be a Wendigo. It's a good Super Poly target. I could be playing Mud Dragon. I don't have one right now. But this gets their Ferrigite off the board. It gets any Earth-type monster off the board that you like. And also, it's just a free negate and 3k booty. What's not to like about it? Next up, App Cologne, Searcher, negate stuff. You get the drill. Generic doll stuff. Next up, for our Invoked engine, we got 2 Makebas and 1 Kaliga. Kaliga Winda is such a good combo, and Makeba Winda is also such a good combo. Makeba negates, Kaliga floodgates. That's all there is to it. Can't attack with more than one monster a turn, and can't activate more than 1 monster effect per turn for either player. And then Makeba just Omni negate and banish, which is nice. Next up, for the Despias, we got 2 Despian Coritises, and this is all the Despias we're running. I would run the big one, and I'm thinking about running the big one and taking out one of my Super Poly targets, but we'll see. So, Despian Coritis, new card, let me explain. During the main phase, he makes all monsters that aren't level 8 fusion 0, which can kind of suck for the matchup, but they're a mirror matchup, but whatever. It works against most things. And also, if he's sent to the graveyard by a card effect of the opponent, you can special summon any Despia from your deck or add 1 to hand, which is nice. And then also, he procs with a theater and stuff like that. And he's just overall a good card. Great card, fantastic. He's definitely something that the opponents have to think about getting around. He's not as good as, say, Makeba or Winda, but he's still a good card for Despias. Now, our 1 generic Super Poly target, which is the Predaplant 3 Dark guy, because heroes are going to be a thing, and he also negates, which is nice, and you can just get, if they floodgate you with the Fusion guy, the new Destiny hero Dragoon guy, Plasma, and something else with 3 darks on the field, you just Super Poly all their stuff. You don't even have to put something on the board. Then boom, you go into this guy, 3k, get negate something once per turn. It's really nice. And then we're going to go into our links. Artemis for Invoked makes Alistair a 1-card Makeba. And then 2 Nightmares, Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Unicorn. Again, we hate back row and we hate floodgates, so we're going to try and do as much as we can to get rid of them. Now, that's the extra deck. Not really running a Link 4. If I was, I'd probably cut maybe one of the Coritises for the game. But at the same time, Branded Opening locks you into fusions, so you like your fusions. I am thinking about maybe cutting a Coritis to go with a Proskinian, but we will see. And yes, that's about it. And as per tradition, we will not do side decks because people try and be sneaky and look at stuff. So yes, that is Despia Invoked Shaddolls. So yes, if you enjoyed this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And yeah, I hope you guys have a fun time playing the deck. I know I do. And I hope it gets really broke in the future. This is Dr. Jenzo signing out, guys. Have a good one.